In the rolling hills of Atlanta, Georgia, where the skyline blended seamlessly with lush green estates, stood the home of Dr. Elias Kingston. At 48 years old, Elias had risen from the humble streets of a small southern town to become a renowned neurosurgeon and philanthropist. His journey wasn't paved with silver spoons, but with relentless grit, late-night studies under flickering streetlights, and a fire that burned brighter than any obstacle thrown his way. Born to a single mother who worked 3 jobs as a nurse, Elias had watched her sacrifice everything to give him a shot at education. He vowed early on to honor that by not just succeeding, but by lifting others along the way. His estate in the exclusive Buckhead neighborhood was a testament to that vow. Purchased after years of saving every bonus from groundbreaking surgeries and investments in medical tech startups, the property sprawled across 5 acres. Towering oaks framed the driveway, leading to a modern mansion with floor-to-ceiling glass walls that captured the golden hues of Georgia sunsets. But for Elias, the true heart of his home was the infinity pool overlooking a private pond. It wasn't just a luxury. It was his sanctuary, a place where he could shed the weight of the operating room, the endless consultations, and the board meetings for his nonprofit foundation that funded scholarships for underprivileged youth in STEM fields. On this sweltering Sunday afternoon in July, Elias floated on a raft in the pool, the water lapping gently against his skin. He was dressed in simple board shorts, his muscular frame, a remnant of his college track days, relaxed for the first time in weeks. In one hand, he held a tablet displaying a motivational podcast on resilience. In the other, a chilled bottle of sparkling water infused with lemon. The air hummed with the songs of birds and the distant buzz of bees, a far cry from the sterile beeps of hospital monitors. Elias closed his eyes, breathing in the peace he had earned. This wasn't just relaxation. It was reclamation. As a black man in a field dominated by others, he had faced skepticism at every turn. Professors who doubted his intellect, colleagues who questioned his decisions, patients who requested someone else. But here, in his own domain, he belonged unequivocally. The tranquility shattered with the creak of his wrought iron side gate. Elias's eyes snapped open. The gate, part of a high-tech security system he had installed himself, was supposed to alert him via his smartwatch if breached. But today no buzz came, perhaps a glitch from the recent storm. 2 figures strode in unannounced, their boots crunching on the gravel path leading to the pool deck. They weren't delivery men or gardeners. Their attire screamed authority, but something felt off. Both wore dark green button-up shirts with embroidered badges that read, "Neighborhood Watch Enforcement." Belts laden with walkie-talkies, handcuffs and what looked like pepper spray canisters hung low on their hips. The taller one, with a buzz cut and a stern jaw, carried himself like a drill sergeant. The shorter, stockier man had a mustache that twitched with every step, his eyes darting suspiciously. Elias sat up on the raft, water dripping from his arms as he paddled to the edge. "Excuse me, gentlemen. This is private property. How can I assist you?" His voice was measured, professional, the same tone he used to calm anxious patients before surgery. The taller man, whose name tag read Sergeant Harlan, stopped at the pool's rim, his shadow casting over Elias. "We're with the community's enforcement team. Received a tip about suspicious activity here. Need you to confirm residency." Elias raised an eyebrow, pulling himself out of the water with effortless grace. He grabbed a towel from a nearby lounger and draped it over his shoulders. "Suspicious activity? Like enjoying my pool on a day off? And what enforcement team?" "Our HOA contracts with a professional security firm. I've seen their uniforms and those aren't it." The shorter man, Officer Vance, smirked, crossing his arms. "Doesn't matter what you think you've seen. We're authorized to patrol and verify. Show us some ID proving this is your place and we'll be on our way." Elias studied them closely. Their badges were flimsy, the embroidery uneven, like something ordered from a discount online store. No official seals, no community logos. The walkie-talkies looked like kids' toys, and their postures screamed overcompensation rather than training. He'd attended HOA meetings. There was no enforcement team beyond the hired guards who drove marked vehicles. This smelled like a setup, the kind rooted in the ugly undercurrents he'd navigated his whole life. Assumptions based on skin color, wealth that didn't fit the profile. He kept his cool, remembering his mother's advice. Anger clouds judgment. Wisdom clears the path. Authorized by whom? Let's see your credentials first. Badges, licenses, the works. Harlan's eyes narrowed. We don't answer to you. This is about keeping the area secure from outsiders. Outsiders, Elias repeated, letting the word hang. He felt a familiar knot in his stomach, the one that formed in med school when peers whispered about affirmative action, or in the hospital when security eyed him longer than necessary. But he wouldn't let it unravel him. Instead, he smiled faintly. Fascinating. So in my own backyard, I'm the outsider? Tell me more about this tip. Vance stepped forward, his voice rising. Look, buddy, we're not here for chit-chat. Neighbors reported someone who doesn't belong lounging around like they own the place. Could be a vagrant, a squatter. Happens more than you think in fancy spots like this. Elias chuckled softly, though there was no humor in it. A vagrant in swim trunks listening to podcasts? That's a new one. And which neighbors? Names, please. I'm on good terms with most. Harlan waved a hand dismissively. Confidential. Now ID or we escalate. We can detain you if needed. The threat lingered like smoke. Elias's mind raced. He could call the police, but in his experience, that often complicated things for men who looked like him. No, he needed something smarter, something that turned their intrusion into their undoing. As a surgeon, he thrived on precision. One calculated move could save a life. Here, it could reclaim his dignity. He glanced at his smartwatch, subtly activating a silent alert to his home's AI system. But he played along for now, buying time. Detain me? On what grounds? Trespassing on my property? Vance puffed up. On suspicion. We've got the authority. Elias nodded slowly. Authority, right. Well, since you're so official, why don't you radio your base? Confirm this tip. Harlan hesitated, fiddling with his walkie-talkie. Static crackled, but no response came. Vance shot him a glance, then turned back to Elias. Enough games, wallet now. The sun beat down, amplifying the tension. Elias felt the weight of history on his shoulders. The stories of Emmett Till, Ahmaud Arbery, the countless unnamed faces harassed for simply existing. But he also carried the legacy of trailblazers like Dr. Ben Carson and his own mentors who taught him to wield intellect like a scalpel. He wouldn't escalate with force. He'd dissect their facade. All right, Elias said, reaching for his phone on the lounger. Proof coming right up. But instead of his ID, he opened an app linked to his foundation's network, a secure platform used for virtual mentorship sessions with at-risk youth. With a few taps, he initiated a live feed, broadcasting to his network of over 5,000 followers, including community leaders, lawyers, and media contacts. The red dot blinked on. Gentlemen, Elias announced, holding the phone up. You're live now. Smile for the camera and the world. Harlan's face drained of color. What the hell? Vance lunged forward. Turn that off. But Elias stepped back, narrating calmly. Folks, this is Dr. Elias Kingston in my backyard. These two just entered without permission, claiming to be enforcement, demanding I prove I live here. Let's hear their side. Comments flooded in. Dr. K? What's going on? This is racial profiling. Calling my rep now. The men froze, their bluster cracking. Elias had made his move not with anger but with exposure. The world was watching and their house of cards was crumbling. As the live stream gained traction, Elias felt a surge of empowerment. This wasn't just about him. It was a lesson for every young person he mentored. Stand tall, use your tools, and turn adversity into advocacy. The confrontation was far from over, but the power dynamic had shifted irrevocably. The livestream's viewer count climbed rapidly, hitting 500 in minutes as shares rippled through social media. Elias held his phone steady, the camera capturing every twitch on Harlan and Vance's faces. The pool's serene blue contrasted sharply with the storm brewing on the deck. Elias's heart pounded, but his surgeon's hands didn't tremble. Precision was his ally. Harlan recovered first, his voice a low growl. This is illegal. You can't record us without consent. Elias tilted his head. In Georgia, one-party consent is fine, especially on my property. You're the intruders here. Care to explain your authority to the audience? Vance glanced at the phone, sweat beading on his forehead despite the shade. Turn it off or we'll sue for defamation. The comments exploded. Sue? You're the ones trespassing. Dr. Kingston, stay safe. Police en route. This is why we need body cams for everyone, Elias narrated for the viewers. These gentlemen say they're neighborhood enforcement. But our HOA doesn't have that. No marked vehicles, no real badges. Sounds fishy, right? Harlan's hand hovered near his belt. We're volunteers, protecting the community from threats. Threats like a black doctor relaxing at home. Elias pressed, his tone even but pointed. He knew the script, the subtle racism masked as concern. Growing up, he'd been stopped by concerned citizens while jogging, questioned in stores. But now with an audience, he could rewrite it. Vance sputtered. It's not about race. It's about reports of break-ins. Reports from whom? Elias asked. Let's call the HOA president. I have her number. She's a patient of mine. Harlan blocked the path to the house. No need. Just show ID and we're gone. Elias smiled. ID? Sure. He flipped the camera to selfie mode and walked inside, the stream following. In his kitchen, he grabbed his wallet from the counter, holding up his driver's license. Here, Dr. Elias Kingston, this address. And here's my medical license, property deed, scanned and verified. Viewers cheered, proof positive. They're fakes, run them out. Back outside, Harlan and Vance shifted uncomfortably. Elias continued, now your turn. Badges up close. Reluctantly, they held them up. The embroidery was crooked, no holograms or serials. Comments poured, toy badges. Impersonating officers, felony. Vance snapped, this is harassment. Ironic, Elias replied. You invaded my space, demanded proof. Now the tables turn. The men's confidence eroded. Harlan whispered to Vance, but the mic caught it. We should have picked someone else. Elias pounced. Someone else like who? Someone who fits your idea of belonging. Vance flushed. You twist words. We've patrolled for years, know who belongs. Years? Elias echoed. Without HOA approval. Sounds like vigilantism. A notification buzzed. A viewer, a local journalist, was amplifying the stream. Views hit 2,000. Harlan tried de-escalation. Look, maybe a misunderstanding. We'll leave, but Elias wasn't done. Not yet. Explain the tip, Vance muttered. Anonymous call about a suspicious black man. There it was. The admission. Comments raged. Racism plain as day. Dr. K, you're a hero. Elias felt vindicated. This moment was bigger than him. It was inspiration for his mentees, showing how to confront bias with facts and visibility. Sirens wailed in the distance. The real police were coming, summoned by viewers. Harlan and Vance panicked, but Elias stood firm, the live stream his shield. As officers arrived, Elias explained calmly, handing over evidence. The men were detained for trespassing and impersonation. The stream ended with Elias addressing viewers. Stand up, speak out. Your voice is your power. The neighborhood buzzed, with residents apologizing and pledging change. Elias's foundation gained donations, his story motivating thousands. With the police on scene, Elias lowered his phone, the live stream archived for posterity. Officers questioned Harlan and Vance, who stammered excuses about community service. But the badges, the lack of credentials, it all unraveled. Elias provided his home security footage, silently recorded from the start, corroborating everything. As the men were cuffed, Harlan glared. You'll regret this. Elias met his gaze. Regret exposing injustice? Never. The arrest made local news, Elias's composure praised. He used the platform to discuss systemic bias, inspiring panels and workshops through his foundation. Back home, Elias reflected by the pool. The incident could have broken him, but instead it forged stronger resolve. He mentored more youth, teaching them to document encounters, know their rights, and turn pain into purpose. Months later, the HOA reformed, adding diversity training. Elias was elected to the board, ensuring no one felt like an outsider. His one move, the live stream, became a symbol. Technology and community as weapons against prejudice. Elias's life, once defined by surgeries, now included advocacy, proving one act can ripple into change. Viewers from the stream reached out, sharing stories. Elias responded, building a network of resilience. His sanctuary remained, but now it symbolized triumph. In the aftermath, Elias's story went viral, amassing millions of views. Interviews followed, CNN, TED Talks, where he shared his philosophy. Confrontation isn't about winning battles. It's about illuminating truths. His foundation exploded, funding programs teaching digital literacy and self-advocacy. Youth he mentored, like young Jamal from inner-city Atlanta, cited the incident as life-changing. Dr. K showed me, don't react, respond with power. The trial of Harlan and Vance revealed they were disgruntled former residents, motivated by resentment toward new money like Elias. Sentenced for fraud and trespassing, their exposure deterred similar acts. Elias's neighborhood transformed. Block parties fostered unity, with Elias hosting poolside discussions on inclusion. His home became a hub for inspiration. Personally, Elias found deeper peace. The pool, once a private escape, now hosted family gatherings, his mother beaming with pride. Years on, Elias authored a bestseller, One Move Turning Intrusion into Influence. It motivated globally, proving individual actions spark revolutions. In quiet moments, Elias floated in his pool grateful. From humble beginnings to millionaire advocate, his journey inspired. Face harassment with grace, destroy it with wisdom, and build a legacy of light.